If you're not building around Monarch for the Wakanda Forever upgrades, I think you're missing the best build path for this deck. Stick around to find out. All right, so here we got Whisper, Silk Cloak, Meteor Golem, Coveted Jewel, Metalwork Colossus. I mean, if you're going for the 4 CMC or greater artifacts with the main T'Challa, great. You can keep like maybe Coveted Jewel in, Metalwork Colossus. Whisper Silk Cloak doesn't do the trigger for T'Challa, and I feel like you just want to put like Lightning Greaves in the deck instead of Whisper Silk Cloak. If you like it, again, the way I build these, if you don't like what I cut out, cut whatever you want out. The main thing for me is I'm going to show you things that I believe you should put in the deck, and then you can make cuts yourself. But these are just what I would cut from the deck. Coveted Jewel, I just think it's, you could play some political games with it with the monarchy, but I'm just not for it, so I'm cutting it. Vibranium Mining Mech 4, Trample as a vehicle. I'm going to mix the Vibranium again. I'm not here for it. We're not building that version of the deck. Orbital Vibranium Bomb 3, white. It's just Scour Glass, sacrifice to destroy all permanents except for artifacts. We're not doing that here. Trading Post. If you're a Trading Post lover, you can keep it, but it's not really doing what we want to be doing in the deck. And then we got Shuri's Fabricator for 4. It's new. It creates 2 of the tap Vibranium tokens. Again, we're not really ramping into anything large in this deck. And we don't really care about the finality counter on returning an artifact. Axum. You got Conduit of Worlds, 2 and a green. You may play lands from your graveyard. Cool, good card. I like it, but I just don't think it's doing what I want to do here. Dispatch. There's other cards we can play. I don't mention it in the slides, but like if you're gonna play, you can play like Swords to Plowshares, Path to Exile, things like that. Over cards like Dispatch. Ingenious Smith, 1 and a white, 1/1. When it enters, you get to look at the top 4, and you can put an artifact. We do have some artifacts in the deck. We're not playing a ton of them, so we did keep some from the Precon, but not enough to keep playing this, and it only triggers once. This card would be sweet if it was like every time an artifact like entered, you got to do something. I mean, you can blink this and do it again, but just getting the 1/1 counter on this creature once is not worth it. Midnight Angel Armor, I do feel like if you're going for like the wide tokeny thing, then this is okay. I really wish it was like the one that when a token enters, it makes an angel instead, which I believe is actually in the deck. So moving on, we're gonna cut those. Wakanda Forever, 4 green. Reveal the top 6 cards of your library. Put a permanent from among them on the battlefield with an indestructible counter, and then the other one goes in your hand. I just think there's better things we can be doing here. If you like it, keep it. If it's thematic, Valorous Stance, kind of my same thing as earlier with Path and Swords to Plowshares, etc. Just put better removal and cheaper removal. Although this one only costs 2, but still. Fleecemane Lion. It's cool. It's Wakanda War Panther, but it doesn't give like your board hexproof. But it gives itself. It's just a flavorful card to put in the deck, but I do believe it gets cut. So these are where we would start entering cards. If I blew your ears out with the axe thing, just let me know down in the comments below. I was just testing out some fun things here. So this is the cycle of courts, as I would put it. You got the Court of Grace, the Court of Garenberg, the Court of Ardenvale, and the Court of Bounty. It's a Monarch package that I believe goes very well in this green-white deck. So whenever it enters, you become the Monarch if they've taken it from you. And then if you're upkeep, you get a white spirit token with flying. If you're the Monarch, you get a 4/4 white angel instead. Kind of like what I wish that divine equipment would do. Now you're going to be able to get a bunch of 4/4s as long as you're the Monarch, which you're going to probably be the Monarch. Whenever Court of Garenberg enters, you become the Monarch. At the beginning of your upkeep, distribute 2 1/1 counters among up to 2 target creatures, and then if you're the Monarch, double those. So, I mean, you got a 4/4, you put 2 of them. Now there's a 6/6, but you can do it again. You double them, and then you get to put 4 counters on there instead of 2. Pretty powerful. Court of Ardenvale, 2 and white. When it enters, you become the Monarch. See the theme. At the beginning of your upkeep, return target permanent card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to your hand. If you're the Monarch, return that permanent card to the battlefield instead. If they kill some of your cool stuff, now you can get it back. Court of Bounty, 2 and a green. I guess you know what it does? You become the Monarch. All right. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. If you're the Monarch, instead, you may put a creature or land card from your hand. I don't need to tell you how strong that is. And you're going to be the Monarch. Entourage of Trest, more Monarch power payoff cards, I guess you would say, in these slides. Like I said, the Precon came with lots of Monarch things, just not Monarch payoffs. It was more like, hey, you took that from me, I'm going to get it back, and I get a bonus for doing so. When Entourage of Trust enters, you become the Monarch. When Entourage of Trust can block an additional creature as long as you're the Monarch. I feel like there's that card from the Heroes Precon that like makes your guy indestructible and take all the damage. I think that'd be kind of cool. There's other ways you can make Trest indestructible and block 2 things, and that makes him a pretty powerful blocker, especially when they're trying to take the Monarch from you. You got 4 green. This could be one of the creatures that you put into the battlefield from one of the other courts. Trample Regal Behemoth enters, you become the Monarch. Whenever you tap a land for mana, you get, if you're the Monarch, you add an additional color. So it is cool ramp, a way to get the Monarch back if they've taken it from you. Protector of the Crown is 5 and a white, 2/5, giant soldier. When it enters, you become the Monarch. All damage that would be dealt to you is instead dealt to Protector of the Crown instead. Awesome. Put like some sort of indestructible equipment if you'd like to put something like that in here, or I know there's some spells that can make your guy indestructible until the end of turn, but a permanent way to make him indestructible would be much, much better. Dawnglade Regent, 5 green, little heavy guy. 8H, when Dawnglade Regent enters the battlefield, you become the Monarch. As long as you are the Monarch, permanents you control have hexproof. Very strong. Then any white-based attacking deck, I always put Reconnaissance in because it's basically giving all your creatures vigilance. You just attack, pay the 0, untap, it's vigilance. You got Crown of Gondor for 3, legendary artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets 1/1 for each creature you control. Small theme with making tokens in this deck, not the main theme, but you can grow one of your creatures 1/1 for each creature you control. When a legendary creature enters the battlefield under your control, if there is no Monarch, you become the Monarch. And then equip 4, and it has equip 3 to activate if you are the Monarch. So that's the rest of the Monarch cards mainly that you would play. Again, like the courts were the main ones with your payoffs for being the Monarch. But then you got a Machinist Arsenal. I feel like some of these job select equipments were pretty good. It's job select. When it enters, you get a 1/1. Equip creatures 2/2 for each artifact you control, and is an artifact and an artificer in addition, and it's got equip 4. So there are some artifacts still in the deck to play off of the T'Challa that you're already playing. Then we got Dancer Chakrams, another one of those job select ones. I really like the job select ones that came out of, like, this one came out of the Commander deck. Equipped creature has 2/2 and lifelink, and other commanders you control get 2/2 and have lifelink, and is a performer. The performer part doesn't really matter, but just giving your commander 2/2 and lifelink, and it triggers some of the higher artifact things that we do have still left in the deck that weren't cut. This is just a reminder, guys, to if you like this kind of content, subscribe. I'm glad you made it this far, and let's keep going. So we got Archon of Coronation, 4 and a white. It's a 5/5 flying Archon. When Archon enters, you become the Monarch. As long as you're the Monarch, damage doesn't cause you to lose life. Strong. Then we got the Serema, 1 and a white, 5/5 legendary artifact Spacecraft. When it enters, you can search your library for a legendary creature card. So many legendary creatures in Marvel and UBs just in general that this is going to be able to go search up to pretty much anything that you want for the situation at the time, as long as it's a creature. And of course, if you station it, which shouldn't be that difficult in this deck, other tapped legendary creatures you control have indestructible. Then we got Diadrine Synthesis Amalgam X green white creature artifact construct. So this could trigger your other T'Challa if you pay enough into it. But it enters with a 1/1 counters equal to the amount of mana spent, and then when you attack, you may remove a 1/1 counter from each of 2 creatures you control. If you do, you get to draw a card and create a robot. It's mainly here because it is an artifact. It's better than some of the things that we cut, and it does have some card draw kind of tacked in. The Earth Crystal, also artifact, triggers some of the other stuff in the deck. And if one or more 1/1 counters, you put twice as many. We do have, like I said, a little 1/1 theme going on here, as you can see with the Diadrime. And it makes your green spells cast one less. So this was, I have Alvison's Pilgrim here, but this is going to be any of your ramp cards. You got your the Delighted Halfling, your Birds of Paradise is already in the deck, your Alvison's Pilgrim. You can put some Llanowar Elves in here if you want. Just any of the little mana dorks. Alvison's Pilgrim I put up here because it's a Selesnya deck, and so it's the best one to show off. Then you got Germination Practicum, 3 and a green. I think all of these Paradigm cards are good in Commander in some form or fashion. This one lets you distribute 2 1/1 counters. Pretty much as soon as you resolve this, it's going to be every turn on your upkeep, first main phase. Plus, if you have like Earth's Crystal out now, you're doubling those. Jennifer Walters, She-Hulk, 1 and a white, 2/3. Your opponents can't cast spells during your turn. I think it's pretty powerful. It's from the main set. If you're already cracking packs and you pull Jennifer Walters, you slam it in the deck. Cut one of those other things we talked about. And then she also has the same text box on her backside, but it's reach and trample. And then whenever a creature you control is dealt damage, you may have the sensational She-Hulk deal that much damage back to a target. I think that's pretty fun while you're the Monarch. Kind of like de-incentivizes them to even try to get the Monarch back. Then we have Bow of Nylea, 1 and a green. Attacking creatures you control have Death Touch. I think you want to give all these like tokens and random things that we're creating Death Touch, which is why we also have Orhan Frostfang, 3 green, 2/6. Attacking creatures you control have Death Touch, but this is whenever a creature you control does combat damage to a player, you get to draw a card. I guess I skipped over that. The 2 and a green on a Nylea, you can put a 1/1 counter on target creature, be able to double it, or Bow of Nylea does 2 damage to target creature with flying, or you gain 3 life, or put up to 4 target cards from your graveyard on the bottom of any order. So it's kind of got some modal things you can do there. I think it's worth it. Then you got Mangara, the Diplomat. Admittedly, I put it in there because it's a Diplomat kind of monarchy style deck, and this is lifelink. Whenever an opponent attacks with creatures, if 2 or more of those creatures that were attacking you or planeswalkers you control draw a card, they're most likely going to be attacking you trying to get the Monarch back. And then it also has whenever an opponent casts their second spell each turn, you get to draw a card. Happens a lot in Commander. So then we got Kutsul Malamet Exemplar, 1 and a green-white. Your opponents can't cast spells during your turn. Whenever 1 or more creatures you control with power greater than its base power deal combat damage to a player, draw a card. We're in green-white. I just think we need some ways to draw cards here in the deck. Also, he's got the opponents can't cast spells on your turn. Same thing as Jennifer Walters. And then we got Abandoned Air Temple, Gavany Township. I believe, I don't really like to tell you guys how to build your mana bases, but sometimes I'll add some utility lands in. These both are just like tap, add 1/1 counter to each creature you control. There's good utility lands, cut like a basic for them. Then you got Minas Tirith, legendary land. Basically, as long as you have a legendary creature, which you probably should, it enters untapped. Even if it's your first land, doesn't really matter. Adds white, and then if you attack with 2 or more creatures, you get to draw a card for 1 and a white. You need card draw. We just went over that. All right, you guys made it through all the way through the video. I hope you guys enjoyed the new sound quality and minus the kids screaming right there in the background. But I just want to know how you guys are enjoying this content. Do you like going over the precons? We're kind of done with them now, but now we can do some top 10 videos and kind of get into that before we bust open some. We got the pack opening set up here ready for the collector packs. All right, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.